Hello and welcome to Tech Deals. Are you looking for a premium case for a premium build? Ryzen 7 2700 or 2700X, or perhaps an i7 9700K or the new i9 9900K? Have I got a deal for you? This is a premium case for a premium build. The Cooler Master H500M mesh case. It actually has a choice of two different front panels. You can have the acrylic if you want the pretty clear front for the RGB fans, but frankly most of you should go with the mesh front. Both are included because you'll get much better airflow. This case retails for $200. It's a premium price, but it's got some very nice features in it, not included in the cheaper cases. If you do want something similar to this for less money, I have previously reviewed and built a system in the H500 non-M case. That one is $99. It also comes with RGB fans, but it does have fewer features. This is sort of an upgraded version of that case. Linked in the video description below, you'll find links to the entire H500 series line, the H500P mesh, the H500M, which is the newest, highest end model, and then the budget line, the H500. They all have RGB. They're all very nice in their own right. Spend more, get more. Now in today's video, I'm going to take this out of the box. I'm going to show it around, front, back, sides. I'll take the panels off, etc. This isn't a build video. It will get a build. Either the Ryzen 7 2700X or the new i9 9900K will go in here. I'm not actually 100% sure which will go in there. Let me know in the comments below which build you'd like to see. But this is all about taking you on a tour of it, what features and options and drive placement and cable management, etc. that this case has. So with no further ado, let's get this out of the box. With the box itself open, I have to say I really appreciate how Cooler Master does it. Now, traditionally when I say take cases out of boxes, you cut the top open, you turn the thing upside down, you try to lift the box off the case without it all falling all over the place. Cooler Master has a better solution. This is actually in a bag inside the case. There are two handles here, and you just put this on the floor and literally lift the entire thing out, foam, case, and everything, in the bag that is inside the box. I really wish every case manufacturer would do it. It's much better than the dump it upside down and hope it doesn't all fall out routine. Just like that. It is heavy, and that's not something you're going to want to do lightly because it's a heavy case, what can I say? The H500 is lighter, the H500P mesh is somewhere in between. This is a deluxe case. At this point, you just take the foam off, peel the bag down, and we'll set it up on the desk. Here we have the case out of the box, and I have to say, this looks really, really nice. It's not gray, it's dark gray, but it's more of a black gray than anything else, and it looks really sharp. I'm excited to have this all lit up like a Christmas tree. We're gonna have an RGB cooler, an RGB RAM, an RGB motherboard, and the two huge front fans are RGB. And this has glass on both sides, which not all of the cases do. It's one of the nice upgrades. Furthermore, there's just a single screw on both sides here. I'll turn it on its side in a second, where you can just unscrew it and the panel comes off to the side and comes out. So it's not like you have 4 screws and the thing just falls onto the desk, which I really don't like. So the side panel design is really cool. Let's do some plastic peeling, shall we? If you like plastic peeling, there's a lot of plastic on this case. Okay, I'll admit that didn't come off as cleanly as I would have liked, but it came off. A little bit of plastic up there, we'll get that in a minute. Well, we did one side, we need to do the other, so one more, and this is an easy one. They should all, this front angle and the front and the back angle were the two good kind, and the rest was just awful. It doesn't matter, it's just plastic. Okay, on with the case. To open the side of the case, you will need a flathead screwdriver. As I mentioned, there is a single screw here, and it takes just a quarter turn. It's on securely, and so we just turn it, and then the glass just comes down that far. Doesn't fall. It's on a ledge that holds it. Behind here is actually a ridge, a handle, so to speak, that you just come in here and you just lift it off and you can hold it. So the glass actually has something to hold on to besides the glass. All tempered glass panels should be designed like this, and when they're not, tech gets grumpy. I like this. This is really good. This same way on both sides. Now, turning the case a little bit more to the side, you can see inside of it. Already, I like this case. There are six, count them, 6 places to install 2.5-inch drives. That's probably a record among cases. There are 2 right here on top of the power supply shroud. There are 2 here in front of the fans, and there are 2 on the back, you can't see them at the moment, on the back of the motherboard tray. That gives you a lot of flexibility for installing solid-state drives. This is in addition to, of course, any M.2 drives you install on the motherboard. Do you have a large, heavy graphics card? And if you're building a system in a case such as this, you probably do. This absolutely deserves a very large, thick graphics card, such as the MSI Gaming X Trio or one of the other really large cards, the triple slot EVGAs, for example. Take a look at this. This is a graphic card holder, and it can be adjusted up and down, and you put it under the edge of the graphics card, so when you install it in here, you essentially provide support for the card. I've used this once before, the Mastermaker 5T from almost 2 years ago at this point, which I did my Ryzen 7 1700 build in. It had one similar, and I did some pictures of that before and after, and I was actually surprised at how much graphics card sag there was with a large graphics card installed. So I'm glad that they put it in there. That's very nice. Now, there are the cutouts here for a vertical GPU mount, but I suspect most people doing builds in a system like this aren't going to get quite that custom. The other problem is when you put the graphics card vertically mounted here, you're right next to the glass and it's poor airflow, and it sounds nice. I would just install the graphics card like normal and use that support. The other thing I like about this case is take a look at this 140mm fan right here. Now, it's not RGB, just the 2 fans in the front are RGB, but you've got the I/O shield right here where the motherboard goes, and then you've got all this case depth. You have plenty of room for a large tower cooler or a liquid cooler. You have room to mount a liquid cooler in the top without it interfering in the motherboard, because the motherboard is not stuffed up to the top of the case. Some smaller cases that don't have this extra size make it really, really tough to install extra fans or radiators just because they've got everything crammed a little bit too close together. And then the extra Z depth. There is that much depth between, in terms of case width, between the top of the graphics card slot, so you could install any graphics card, even a super tall, a Kingpin or a Gaming X Trio or any of the really large graphics cards. In terms of height, there's plenty of room. In terms of length, holy smokes, look how much length you have here. You have no restrictions on graphics card, which is really, really nice. With those 2 large intake fans and the mesh in the front, this fan out back, and then ventilation, the option to install coolers on the top. If you have cooling and ventilation problems in this case, something went wrong. Now, you don't have to have mesh on the front. If you're installing a beauty build where beauty is more important than airflow, this actually does not come with an acrylic front. It comes with a tempered glass front. Somehow in my preparation for this video, I missed that, but it does actually come with a real, honest-to-goodness glass front that can replace that mesh. Now, before you think this is dirty, yeah, it's got that plastic on it. More appealing, but it's not the easy plastic. This one doesn't want to come off. This is where my wife would make a joke and say I should have bought the glass a drink. The plastic a drink? Bought them both a drink. The story of Tech's life, it broke halfway down. I hate it when my protection breaks. Fun fact, my wife is standing on the other side of the camera laughing her butt off right now. So yes, Cooler Master did go to the expense to include a piece of glass for the front of the case, which none of you should use. The whole point of this, I mean, okay, if you're just doing a beauty build and you're not concerned about overclocking or max performance, maybe you put a Ryzen 7 2700 in instead of a 2700X. You're not pushing it too much. Maybe you go a mid-level graphics card like an RTX 2070 instead of a 2080 Ti. Yeah, okay, you can put the glass in the front and the airflow probably doesn't matter that much. But if you're building a premium $2,000 machine, leave the mesh. I have now taken off the top panel to the case, and yes, it is glass as well, not acrylic, but there are vent holes along the sides. You can see here there's a lot of mounting points for fans or liquid coolers. Now, airflow will be somewhat restricted because there's glass on the top. Yes, there are air ventilations, but it's not as nice as the mesh in the front. But if you need some extra cooling or extra airflow or a place to mount a radiator, you certainly can do so on the top. Now, I just put this bag here because I don't want to hurt my nice new table that I got for filming here. This is going to be something that when you go to build in a case like this, you're going to want something on your surface. The recent Gamers Nexus mat that I built the Ryzen 5 2600 on, for example, is expensive, but it's really nice for building on. You need some kind of mat or some kind of protection because neither side of this case, when all the covers are off, are very good for nice tables. This is the back of the case. Same thing, flathead screwdriver, one screw. We simply put that in place, 1/4 turn, and it simply tilts straight down. It's not going to fall off. This is how they should all be designed. We simply put our hand here and lift, and it comes straight off. Looking at the back of the case, notice that we have cable management heaven. There is so much stuff back here, places, cutouts, routes for the cables to go. All case manufacturers should make it this wonderful. I've now built in several recent Cooler Master cases. I tell you, they do this really well. Here, you've got the actual zip tie points. There's a bunch of them all over where you can actually zip tie cables down, but there is more than my thumb's width between where the back of the glass is and the back of the motherboard tray. And what this means is throughout all these spots, you can route the 24-pin ATX power cable, the 8-pin CPU power connector, SATA drive connectors. You can see right here, we've got a bunch of holes. These are where you can install 2 more 2.5-inch SATA drives if you want to put more SSDs back. You can put a ridiculous amount of storage in this case, quite frankly. Now, there is a piece of green tape here, which we will peel really quickly. Oh, well, that actually came off really nicely. This provides access to behind the motherboard. That's where the cooler gets attached to, but it also provides protection and appearance benefits. Because there is tempered glass on the side of the case, you don't want some ugly back of the motherboard being exposed. It also provides protection from cables back here accidentally touching where the VRMs or the memory or the CPU is, and potentially getting hot and or melting, which would be bad. So that's really nice. That would just pop straight off and then you can access it. So if you want to change out the cooler without taking your motherboard, you can certainly do so. Now this here is monster cable management as well, and there are actually 3 screws here, and this whole panel comes off. I'll show this to you when I do a build in this case, but that whole panel comes off. You can easily access all the cables back there for the 2.5-inch SATA drive mounts back there, running cables from the front panel down to the motherboard and everything else. And then you have a cover here that's got a couple of screws, power supply. This provides an easy access to the power supply, but there is actually a hole right here. So if you put your 2.5-inch drives here, you can run the cables straight through this hole, which then has access to the power supply and then goes over and has access to the SATA ports on the motherboard. Do I sound excited? I love the design. I really, really like the design of this. Too many cases look nice until you try to build in them or you try to cable manage them. I've now built enough machines that just looking at the case, I can immediately tell whether it's going to be fun or a pain in the neck to build in. And this management shroud here, the accessibility to the power supply, this cable management shroud, you can't see it, but I can see where the cables are going to come across. And because it's got a plate inside, those cables will come over and plug into the motherboard and they will not block anything. It's $200. I understand. $200 is a lot of money to spend on a case. If you're building a $1,000 machine, this is too much. If you're building like the Ryzen 5 2600 that I recently did, I used the non-M version of this, the H500. Still has mesh in the front, missing some features, doesn't have all this extra glass and whatnot, but $99. Half the price, and for a $1,000 build, it's about the right case to go with in terms of budget, features, etc. But if you're building a Ryzen 7 2700X or an i7 9700K or an i9, $2,000, maybe $2,500, this should be on your short list. One final thought, 4 USB 3.0 ports on the front. That's really nice. Way too many cases still only have 2. In addition to that, there is a USB 3.1 Type-C in addition to the 3.0 ports up here. So you have the reversible smaller port up here. This is one of the first cases that I've ever done a video with, and certainly will be one of the first that I ever build with that actually has one of those. Most modern motherboards do now have the 3.1 plug on the board. I've never actually used it before because we've never actually done a build with a case that had that, so that's pretty cool. And then you have power switch, reset switch, microphone, headphone jacks, etc. So that is definitely very nice. All in all, I'm happy with it. Like this video if you like it, share it with your friends if you loved it. Remember to subscribe to my channel with the big huge red button directly below. Hit the bell notification icon next to it if you'd actually like to be notified when new videos come out, because otherwise YouTube won't tell you. Questions, comments, thoughts, comment section down below. Check the links in the video description. This case and the other two H500 series, the P with the mesh and the H500 straight for $99 will be linked down in the description below. Having built with these cases, I've already built with the other two. I built with the H500P, I built with the H500 non-M. I am looking forward to a build with this. Cooler Master's on a roll lately. These are really, really nice cases, and having had a reasonable amount of experience with them over the past 2 years, I'm looking forward to this. Thank you all so much for watching. I will see you next time.